Alright, hello everyone, my name is Sark and welcome back to another figure review. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the KDcolle Albedo swimsuit restrained version in the 1/7 scale. So this is, so the restrained version right here, the Albedo that is being restrained by, I'm guessing, Ainz's hands from the looks of it. So it is the restrained version. I got this straight from Ami. It is currently available there. So if you wanted to get it right after this review, you can definitely go get that one if you wanted to. But without further ado, I'm very excited about this one. Let's get her out and see how she looks. Alright, so here we have Albedo in all of her beautiful, gorgeous glory. Holy hell. Okay, so for this figure, again, we have the three categories: accuracy, quality, and value for the figure itself. So just kind of like a quick look to it, this figure looks really nice. So just kind of starting with the accuracy section, this is a more stylized Albedo look than the usual. So she's not necessarily anime accurate, and I don't think she's manga accurate. If I am able to find a manga shot from her, then I'll put it sort of like on the side of the screen so you guys see how she normally looks there. But besides that, like, this is a very sort of exaggerated look to her, especially for the wings and also the face and even the body itself. We know that she has a voluptuous body in both in the source material, so it makes sense that they would sort of want to exaggerate that a little bit here. You'll see a lot of pictures sort of going through that entire thing in itself. So yeah, I will say that she does look pretty good nonetheless. I really do like how she looks. In terms of accuracy, she's not the most accurate, in my opinion, to the actual Albedo herself. But it does remind me of sort of like the ending card sequences for the first season, where she's more so like very stylized and very I don't know how to mention it. I think it's more so like in the not medieval era, but like the more that painterly type era for like artists and everything like that. Very Roman-esque, I think. I don't even know. I'm just babbling at this point. But in terms of the accuracy, I do think that she is somewhere in between of like close, but definitely stylized in many areas as well. Although I will say that she does come with an additional accessory, or in this case, an additional faceplate. And I do think that this faceplate itself is the most accurate thing about Albedo. Mostly because it is a faceplate. So I have it right here. We can see the facial expression. This is the expression that she would realistically be doing if she was actually being restrained by her Lord and Savior Ainz. So again, this is the one that I'm actually going to have on her, really, because it is completely accurate to her own persona and everything like that. So very much reminiscent of that lusty Albedo and very sort of quote-unquote horny Albedo, where she just really wants to be with her Lord and everything like that. So putting that aside for now, again, just in terms of the accuracy, she's pretty well done. The actual colors of the entire figure are very vibrant in a sense, and I really like how they did pretty much everything. So kind of leading into the quality section, this figure is very well done in both the paint job, the sturdiness, and also the feel of the figure. So this figure itself feels soft. Now bear with me, this figure feels soft because of the types of plastic that they used. So the wings themselves are not hard plastic. That's very good. You can see that I'm able to bend a little bit of the wings here and there, but just the tips. This feels like a very nice soft plastic that they used for the tips of the wings, which is really, really nice. Because if they were hard and just solid plastic, they would have probably snapped the moment I took her out of the box. So I am glad that they're not hard plastic, and instead they're a really nice soft plastic that you can really still be careful with because it might still snap, but you can be less worried about these wings snapping off, although they are quite heavy, so do be careful with the back of the actual wings just in case they're too heavy for the figure or they might have snapped already. Now, same thing with the hair. The hair does have a translucent look. As we can see, we have the translucent ends of the tips of the hair, which is really nicely done. Most of the time they do it with just paint itself, but this time around they did it with the actual plastic. The last Albedo that we took a look at was the Papa Parade Albedo, and that one had more of a blue tone to the hair, and this one is definitely more pink than anything else, and I think both of these colors suit Albedo very well. In terms of the actual hair, it's still soft plastic, so again, don't worry too much about breaking off the tips at the end, although do still be careful with the figure. This is an expensive figure, it could still break at any point if you are rough with it. So yeah, the base itself is hollow, but it is of nice quality. It is solid plastic, and the paint job that they did with sort of the transitioning and the fading between the rose red or the rose pink and sort of the dark purple. I'm trying to use my knowledge of colors because I do know the colors. I am sort of an artist, but at the same time I don't recall the names of the colors, but it does have a really nice transition between sort of the pink and the purple on the sides, and the cracking of the actual base is really well done and does not feel like it was like measured or anything like that. It feels natural, so it doesn't stand out that much, and there are crevices within the actual shards of the ground, but they don't seem to be painted. Actually no, they are painted. It's just from the angle it doesn't look like it. They are painted black, or there is like a nice little sort of airbrushing with the actual base itself, which is really nice. So yeah, the actual skin tone of the figure is very natural. The clothing looks really nice. This is more solid plastic than soft plastic, so there is that. The actual hands that they used for eyes in this case are also soft plastic. So again, do be careful still while handling this figure, especially from the top. Never hold it right from the very top of this hand. Do not use this hand to support the entire weight of the figure. So there is that pretty much. Very nicely done. I do like the colors. The rings on the hand, on the skeleton hand, are nicely painted. The actual flames on that area are also very nicely done with that pink reddish transitioning into the black at the very top of the tip. And of course, we do have sort of like the quality in the paint for the actual figure itself, which is very nicely done. I will have more pictures of it, like the close-ups, throughout the entire video for you guys to take a look at. But at the same time, the wings are a very nice metallic, dark, deep blue, which is really nice. It still has that hint of black within the actual shading, but that area or like the actual metallic-ish, bluish light color does stand out a lot, which is really, really nicely done. Again, the painting on the clothing, exceptionally well done, especially on the top. We do see that she does kind of have like a sort of see-through top, and they did a really nice job sort of giving that very nice airbrushing to match the skin tone of the figure at the very top of that. Not a cast off, so don't expect to actually take them off for sure. But yeah, overall, in terms of the quality, this figure is amazing, although, again, just do be careful while handling it. When you are putting it onto the actual peg of the stand, do sort of like wiggle it around so it kind of just goes in smoothly. There might be a slight gap at the very end where you might not be able to just put it right away put it in right away. But just kind of hold the actual chest of the figure and even the thighs of Albedo to sort of just put her down, or you can even use the head and the bottom of the figure to sort of like wiggle it around. It took me a minute to actually put it all the way into the actual base. There was a slight gap still, so I wanted to fix that before I showed it to you guys. So it does take a little bit to actually put her inside of the peg. So yeah. So now moving on to the value section, I do think this figure is a very nice figure so far. But does the value justify it? So is the pricing good for this figure? So I got this through AmiAmi, so the sort of like the different exchange rates are going to be completely different. Is as if you were going to get this like here in the US. But this figure is 260 yen, which converts into $144.25 right now in the current exchange rate for the US dollar to Japanese yen. And I do think that's a really good price for it. Now, if you did not want to import this figure, I completely understand that. You probably want to avoid the importing prices of EMS or DHL. I completely get that. But just to give you an idea as to how much this costs right now in terms of the US market, in Big Bad Toy Store, which I know they sometimes put the prices a little bit higher than usual, it is $234.99, which in all reality is a little bit pricey for a 1/7 scale figure, especially one of this size, which I actually did not show how big this figure was. From the bottom of the base all the way to the top of the flame at the arm, it is about 9 inches, which is actually a pretty decent size for a 1/7 scale. That's kind of like kneeling down. So very nicely done. Now, if you were to sort of like look at other places, the other place you could probably get it at is Crunchyroll, the Crunchyroll store, and that is $233.99. If you are a discounted fan, if you have a subscription with Crunchyroll. If you do, that's probably your go-to place if you wanted to get it there through like a US retailer. But I will tell you, if you were going to import this figure, it'll actually still be cheaper because of the current exchange rate for yen compared to the US dollar. It is $144, and at most, depending on the actual size of the figure and depending where you're getting it, like either Hobby Genki or Nin Game, if you were to go with AmiAmi, the shipping, depending on what carrier you use, it'll probably be $40, which will still leave you under $200, which I still think it's a decent price for a figure like her, especially if you are a big fan of Albedo, just like myself. So, in all reality, coming to the conclusion of the actual value, she is definitely worth it for the price that she is right now. But if you wanted to wait for a sale, this is probably a figure that will go on sale sooner or later. That's pretty much it. So, my final thoughts. I have kind of explained everything throughout the entire video, but just to give this a final score, I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. Now, the reason for that is because it has a great paint job, a great price in my own opinion for the quality of the figure in itself, and also the appearance of the figure having two different faceplates, one matching more of sort of like the end card of the figure, of the actual character from the anime, and another one really matching the aesthetic and sort of lust of the character itself, with her sort of kind of enjoying it with that other faceplate. So that's kind of like my three big reasons as to why I really do think this figure is really well done. Even the paint job is outstanding. So again, I think a 10 out of 10 is deserved for this one alone. But that's pretty much all the time I have for you guys today. Let me know what you guys think about this figure. Do you like it? Do you not like it? If you're a fan of Albedo just like myself, are you gonna get this figure? Because I have like 50 other Albedo figures pre-ordered already and ready to go to shoot those videos whenever they're ready or they're arriving to my own home. So besides that, that is all I have for you guys today. So I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.